We all know that India is a federation which comprises of 29 states and 7 union territories. But, do you know, there is a small India which you never knew existed? A secret island, far away from the Indian mainland, hidden away from the general public. No, we are not talking about Lakshadweep or Andaman and Nicobar Island. Watch till the end, because the ending will blow your mind. Countries are made up of states or union territories, but most of the powerful nations in this world try their best to have influence over important regions across the world. Not only to make their presence felt, but also to control the region with their dominance. Global powers like America and Britain are masters of this strategy. This map, for example, shows American establishments in countries around the world. India is not far behind. India also has establishments overseas, but almost all of them are concentrated within a close proximity to the Indian mainland, especially in the Indian Ocean region. These offshore facilities are basically either military bases or listening posts. This map, for example, shows Indian offshore establishments across the world. India has a lot of listening stations in the Indian Ocean region. A listening station is basically a surveillance facility, established to monitor radio and microwave signals, and analyze their content to secure information and intelligence for use in the security and diplomatic interests. India uses these stations to monitor the movement of ships while most countries aggressively build military bases, India mostly has listening stations overseas. But, the then Indian Prime Minister, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, realized that in order to establish supremacy, India needs to build offshore military bases. He chalked out a top-secret plan to build official Indian military bases around the world. His plan became a reality when India launched its very first overseas Air Force base in Farkhar, Tajikistan. But, he lost the next election, and his ambitious plan was shelved to rot, as the new Congress government had no interest whatsoever in such ambitious endeavors. But, 10 years later, when Narendra Modi became the Prime Minister, this ambitious project sprang back to life. As soon as he became the Prime Minister, he ventured out on a number of foreign trips. One such trip was a 5-day tour of the Indian Ocean island nations, namely Mauritius and Seychelles. What was unusual in this trip was that along with the usual diplomatic talks and bilateral ties, he signed MOUs with both countries to offer one of their islands for lease to the Indian government. And thus India bagged 2 islands, with exclusive infrastructure development rights. These 2 islands are Assumption Island from Seychelles, and Agaliga Island from Mauritius. This map shows their location in the world map, and their proximity to India. The leftmost island is the Assumption Island, and the one on the right is the Agaliga Island. Exclusive rights to develop these islands is of huge strategic significance for India. First, because India imports more than 70% of its oil from Saudi Arabia, UAE, Iran, and Kuwait. America and China also imports oil from these countries as well. And all these oil gets transported through ships. The black line in the map shows the Indian oil transport route. Similarly, China's route is shown in red, while America's route is shown in blue. The shaded black region shows the area controlled by Somali pirates. And thus, it becomes very important to protect these oil-bearing ships from these pirates. The shaded region in white shows the region where India has listening stations, or military influence. The shaded region in green shows regions of Indian military control. The shaded yellow region shows the extent of influence of the newly acquired islands. The shaded blue regions shows regions of American and British military influence. And finally, the shaded red regions shows regions of China's military influence, or more popularly called, the Chinese String of Pearls, which clearly shows China's plan to encircle India. And second, because of the Chinese String of Pearls. The Chinese have devised a cunning plan, in shape of the string of pearls, to not only protect its ships, but also to encircle India. This strategy can also be used to easily block supplies to India. Thus, to counter this, India has devised the string of flowers strategy. The strategy is to encircle China's string of pearls. To do this, India had to take control over these islands, and develop the Chabahar port in Iran as well. Both islands are of strategic importance to India, while Agaliga Island will basically be just another listening station. What caught our attention was the Assumption Island. As per reports, India is building a tri-command base at Assumption Island. A tri-command base is a base harboring all three commands of the Indian Armed Forces, namely, the Army, Navy, and the Air Force. Once built, this would be a one-of-a-kind overseas base of India. This is not the only thing we found suspicious. The most suspicious thing about this island is that, when a country leases an island for military establishment, only a certain portion of the island is converted to a high security zone, and the local inhabitants continue to live their normal life. But, in case of Assumption Island, the local inhabitants were relocated to a nearby Astove Island, where the Indian government built 2 residential houses for them. The island is currently inhabited by around 50 to 100 people, all of them are Indian. Half of these are military personnel while the rest are Indian workers. The island has all basic amenities, and surprisingly follows the Indian time zone, which is different from the region's time zone. But, to top them all ships close to 200 nautical miles from the island cannot approach the island without permission. This is only possible when the land is owned by India, making it an Indian territory. The excellent strategic location can help this island turn into a premier surveillance hub for Indian armed forces. The short 1.25 kilometers long runway on the island can easily be used for harboring drones, such as India's Rustam drones, and the recently bought America's Predator Guardian drone. The runway can also be used to land India's premier surveillance aircraft, the Dornier Do-228. If employed, they can extend India's surveillance range to up to 2,000 kilometers from the island. This will allow India to monitor activity in the entire West Indian Ocean. Since this island is an army base as well, India can also fire missiles from the island. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Do check out our other videos as well. Links to a few are on your screen. Please subscribe and do not forget to hit the like button. See you in another video. Thanks for watching.